So right now it's one of my favorite times of the year, and the reason why is, first of all, I got a couple philosophies. One of the philosophies I have is that great things happen in space. And so throughout the year, there's a different rhythm, right? And so you have the day, you have the week, the month, the quarter, and the year. And right now we're at an interesting place because, imagine if a plane was gonna fly from Puerto Rico to Texas, and there's a hurricane. That pilot has a destination that they're trying to go to, but they have to also have a contingency plan. And so as we're taking off in January and we're heading towards our goals, there's gonna be things that cause us to adjust. And I think one of the most important things you can do is always reflect. And so when I say great, it's hard for me to articulate to my business partners. Most of my business partners, when I say business partners, Jay Woods, they understand it, we lived it. But if I'm working with somebody new, it's hard for them to understand the amount of time that goes into thinking, actually taking the time to think, measure twice, cut once. Don't pull the trigger, hit the target. Instead of trying to get it done and then having to do it over. And so for me, what I do is today's Monday, right? Today's Monday, and I'm looking at the last, 6 months, and I'm being very critical. What was the goal? Did we accomplish the goal? For me, what lessons did we learn? One of the best things that you can do is have the time to lay out and be vulnerable with yourself on the lessons you learn, because listen, you never fail, you only learn. And so what I do is, there's things that I do, it's really the rhythm. When I'm in my best rhythm, I'm doing something in the morning every day, I'm creating the space, whether that's an hour, 2 hours. And in that time, I'm thinking strategic. So you got like what, when, where, why, how. How you do something is tactical, right? Why you do something is strategic. So for me, I'm first gonna focus on the why. Why am I gonna buy the house instead of lease the house? Why am I gonna live here versus live there? All of the things that go into, why am I gonna choose to use content marketing over direct response? Or why am I gonna focus on direct response right now and then layer in content marketing next? Why am I gonna do this first and that second? And so, and a lot of the times in strategy, I'm looking for that competitive advantage. Like, okay, right now, I could work on the offer. Well, the offer's converting at 23%. Am I gonna get the same proportionate, is that gonna be the law of diminishing returns? Am I trying to go from 23% to 27%? Or am I trying to go from 23% to 43%? What is the opportunity, right? So are you looking at the landing page? And the real question is, what is the goal? Is that really the goal? Am I digging a hole? Am I using a shovel or a spoon? Am I digging over here or over there? So you have to be able to go through and answer all the questions. And my buddy asked me, for me, he said, what questions do you ask? Well, first of all, I always ask a who question, right? A who question. So let me take you through the process. So one of the things that I aimed to do was shoot more video. Well, why? Why video? Well, why video? Because it's content marketing. I've always believed in content marketing. I hired a videographer back in 2006, Dr. David Cheney, or Doc as we called him. This was when YouTube first came out. I learned there was a process. I won't get into it because I don't want to bore you, but there was a process. It worked. Then after I hired Dr. David Cheney, we launched video, but there was problems. First of all, it was innovative back then because why? Video needs traffic. So what kind of traffic did we do? We emailed it. So there's probably a lot of you watching this thing saying, well, Michael, yeah, you and Jay have emailed me in the past. Yeah, we emailed our video. But the problem there is that's called behind the paywall, right? And that's just a constraint in our thinking. Was that really the goal? Was it the goal to only give the video to the people who we had emailed for? Or was the goal to make the email or the video, which should be value to the public, was it the goal to make that video available to the world? The goal was to get as many people to see it. The goal was to create an asset where everybody could consume it so that we could find the people, because we're only looking for the people that are looking for us. And how can they find us? So let's say you have a piece of content, you have a video, you have a philosophy, but there's a person in Portland, Oregon, or Birmingham, Alabama, or Albuquerque, New Mexico. They don't know. They can't find you. So I knew we had to be more findable. Findable meaning we had to create the content, create more value. That's why we wrote the book, Digital President in 2017. We were great direct response marketers, but we had to adjust. We created a lot of video. I have a Wistia hard drive with hundreds and hundreds of hours of video that nobody's ever seen, or only 541 people in the room that day saw. So how do I bring that content out and make it available to the world? And well, what is the goal? Who's the audience and what is the content for? Well, right now, what do? I help real estate agents. What do? I help them sell more homes. How do I do it? Through digital marketing, through getting customers online, through attracting, not chasing, right? Through understanding how to get clarity and take action and execution and prioritize, right? Through optimization and through strategic thinking, through giving them permission to stop doing things. So those are the things that I do. And so as I'm walking this Rockefeller Trail, as I'm spending time on the beach, I'm always creating space to look back at my strategy and make sure it's the rudder and oar. Like, I'm sitting in front of the ocean, and in the ocean, if I want to go that way or that way, I can go to the BVI's, or I don't know what's that direction, but let's just say, for a lack of direction, Turks and Caicos, right, or St. Bart's. I have to have the rudder. The rudder is the part of the boat that guides the boat. I have to be pointed in the right direction. Now, when I'm pointed in the right direction, the waves are gonna move me. They're gonna move me. So I have to continue to point daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly. I gotta make sure I'm pointed, but every day I gotta row. Every day I gotta row. And what happens is when you don't row, you drift. You drift off where you were aimed. And you maybe even drift backwards. It's the law of thermodynamics that says nothing stays the same. You're either moving closer to your goal or further away. So the question is do you know the goal? Have you set your goal? And where are you on your journey right now? Midpoint, Q2, beginning of Q3. Where are you? Maybe right now you're watching this video and it's the beginning of Q4. Maybe it's Q1. It doesn't matter. It's the same process. It's pausing, coming up and asking the right questions. Questions are so powerful. Like, who can help me accomplish this? Where am I wrong? Who has already accomplished this that might have already solved the problem? Why would I do this? Why wouldn't I do this? If I didn't do this, what else would I do instead? How would I look back over this decision 3 years from now to say that this was the absolute right decision? What are the outcomes? What are the objectives that I'm wanting to achieve? And what are all the ways to achieve the objective? All I'm saying is that instead of getting up and being reactive to your phone and letting people dictate the direction or the action that you're going to take today or tomorrow or the next day, why don't you pause and say, well, this is my life and this is my strategy, and here are all of the ways that I'm going to get there, and I'm going to choose this way over that way because of a reason that I set a goal. My goal was I wanted to go this way. I wanted to go to St. Thomas. I wanted to go to the British Virgin Islands. I didn't want to go to St. Bart's or Turks and Caicos. Again, lack of knowing exactly where what is, assuming they're both in a different direction. And so my advice to you is pause. Give yourself permission to pause on a weekly basis. It's even good to pause in the middle of the day and readjust, realign. But in order to pause, you still have to have the main question is, what's the goal? So I challenge you right now to ask yourself, what is the goal? Where do I want to be at the end of the year, December 31st, looking back over the year based upon who cares of what happened? You could have had a slow year, the market could shift. It could go from a buyer's market to a seller's market. Interest rates could go up, things can go down. None of that matters. Only thing that matters is, what are you going to do today in order to get back on track? What are you going to do to get back on track? And my cousin, and what they say is a great book to read is a book by Darren Hardy. Darren Hardy interviewed me and Jay. He was the author of The Compound Effect. And he says, and I think the quote might be actually from Jim Rohn. And my friend Darren Hardy interviewed us. We worked with Darren Hardy. He spoke at Exponential Growth Summit, an event that we did many years back to back for almost a decade. And he says, you'll suffer one or two pains. You're going to suffer the pain of discipline or the pain of regret.